Welcome back to episode 145 of Tall Boy Radio. Now, sometimes we get three hosts, just recently it's just been two, but tonight I'm afraid as Gaz is tied up with Ofsted at work, I'm afraid it's just myself. However, we do have a guest and he is as fond of beer as we are, so we're going to get to that in a second, but first things first, business as usual. So the beer I'm drinking tonight is one by Farmyard Brew Co, and it is called Hoof, and it is a 4.3 coffee milk stout, which is going to build me up nicely to the beer I've got a second, but I'll get to that one a little bit later because it's featured on this gentleman's channel very, very recently. So, without further ado, let's introduce our guest. Jonathan, if you want to say hello.
Hi, how you doing? My name is Jonathan. I've been reviewing beer on YouTube for 7 years. Dread to think.
You have to say that's longevity, that is, to be honest with you, because you do see a lot
Yeah.
of people who do it and it dies off quite quickly. What was it that first got you interested in it?
Watching another beer reviewer, funny enough.
Yeah.
The great Terry Kay from Beer Goggles Reviews. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
I've not come across that one.
Well, he's passed away since, but he was way ahead of his time with his sense of humour, with his knowledge of beer, and basically that's where I got the bug from. I just bought some German beers. I googled it, and he came up. So I started watching him. Started watching a lot of his videos.
Oh, fair play. And then obviously, what was the first beer that inspired you to have a go yourself?
It was a German wheat beer, Weinsteffen.
Oh yeah,
a Hefeweiss beer. And funny enough, my wife just picked it up off the cuff in Sainsbury's one day and brought it home. Said, "Yeah, give that a go." And I never had a Weiss beer before, and I drank it. Oh, this is really nice. So, kind of like Googled it up, and there came a load of stuff about it.
Yeah, fair play. Funny enough, the Weiss beers, Gaz, who's normally on it tonight, those are literally his go-to beers. He loves the stuff like Hoegaarden, and I think that one that you just mentioned, I'm sure that's a favourite of his. He's had it on here a time or two. Myself, I like the darker beers, especially this time of year, them stouts and the imperial stouts.
It's funny how your taste changes through the seasons of the year, isn't it?
That's it. Don't get me wrong, I could drink them all year round, but they're a little bit heavy for the hotter weather when we occasionally get it. So Farmyard Brew Co. I don't know. Have you had any of these at all before?
Yes, you got the Hoof, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that. It rings a bell.
Yeah,
it rings a bell.
It's not a bad one actually. It's quite a sweet one. I had a coffee imperial stout on here last week. I can't remember its name actually, but it was an absolute humdinger. It was an Under the Moon. It was by I forget the name of the brewery, but honestly, it was a 10% imperial stout, and it was a beaut. This one, I got to be honest, I bought this one and I bought another one from Farmyard at the same time, and ended up drinking it last night. And it was a session IPA. I'm not a big fan of session IPAs, if I'm honest with you.
No, I'm not.
Nah, it's a bit watery.
I think for me personally, I think the brewery's trying to make a bit of money out of watering down some of their beer. It just feels that way to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. So after having that one, I wasn't too excited about this one, but I've got to be honest, it's actually pretty good. I quite like this one. A couple of beers I want to talk to you about then as well, because I watched one of your reviews earlier, and it was I'm going to pronounce it wrong, the El Segundo Stone Cold IPA.
Right.
Yeah. What's that one like? Because I am excited about trying that one.
I mean, I've done the Pilsner as well, the lager. I've done both. I mean, yeah. I think for me, there's so much of that style everywhere that I think you get a bit spoiled for choice, and I think you do become a little bit, I don't know, a little bit numb to it in a way, if that makes sense. Your taste buds seem to, you have so many of them, and it's very hard for one to really stick out. But I have to say, it was very, very nice. It's more of a traditional IPA than anything else. It had all the traditional American West Coast taste notes in. It was just a good example of that style, really.
Nice. Well, we had a guy called Liam on last week. He runs the beer emporium in Sandbach. So, funnily enough, he said the same sort of things yourself. IPAs now all pretty much taste the same. Give or take. They all take. They're all generally pretty good, but they all taste more or less the same. But that one, growing up, people like us with our haircut, you know what I mean? We're going to be big fans of Stone Cold Steve Austin, aren't we? So we want to try that beer.
Exactly. It's exactly. I think I've always had this kind of like attitude that if they take care in the presentation of a beer, as in bottle or as in can, as in labelling, 9 times out of 10 the beer is pretty good inside as well. It's very rare you do get, a snazzy can, but I can think of one brewery.
Let me guess. Beavertown?
Yeah. where the beer doesn't match up to the label, if you know what I mean. We buy with our eyes at the end of the day, don't we?
Yeah, we do. And I watched one of your videos for this. I think it was the solar flare that you tried, and you weren't too impressed by that, were you?
No, because I think, you get sucked in by the marketing. And I think it's more or less aimed at the everyday shopper, in Sainsbury's, who just picks it up. Oh, that's a pretty can. I'll pick that up. But, I know, and that the beer isn't anything now to match up to the marketing.
And that's the thing. Like I think you said in your review as well, you're paying £4 for a can from the supermarket. Now you're going to go to an independent beer shop. You're going to pay more for that. They've got their overheads, and you've got to respect that from them.
Yeah.
But £4 from a supermarket, you can pick up 4 cans of beer from a supermarket.
Exactly.
Yeah, of a similar quality, not necessarily that strength, because it's a decent strength one, that one.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's so important that people like yourself and the people like the Beer Emporium, they do these videos. We had a guy called, have you ever come across John Nickel, the Geordie beer guy, online?
No.
He's a Geordie guy, and he shares his reviews. He just does them on social media, puts them on Facebook. And I think it's great, because if you're going to spend, like, say, £3-4 at a supermarket, or some of these beers, like the one I've got next is £11 from a bottle shop.
Yeah.
Someone like yourself, who's actually giving you that taste experience first, it's a great opportunity. Well, that does sound like it's something I'd like before I put my money in my pocket.
Yeah.
Is that part of the reason why you do it?
I'll just do it because it's a bit of an addiction. I have to say, it is an addiction, because I tried to not do it, then about a week later, I was just sweating. I just need to do this. And I've got people who watch me who, have sent me letters, who've sent me beer. And I just like doing it. It's a great, I don't see myself as an expert, far from it, but it's just a great thing to do, I think. I just like doing it. It's just me, I think.
And you were saying just before we started, how many beers have you had then?
About 2,000. I've got the list here. 2,235.
That's impressive. That is impressive.
But I'm not bored.
No, well, this is the thing. There's so many good beers out there to try. That, you know what I mean? There's new beers each time, and like you say, the one that I've got next is the how's it pronounced again now?
Yeah, I had a problem with that.
Yeah, so the Al Diablo. That should be the easy part as well. Ahmado. Was smoked stout with Mexican applewood smoked chilies.
Yes.
Now, and this is a limited supply, isn't it? So there's only 204 bottles of these.
That's right. That's correct.
Yeah. So this is bottle number 94. I think you had bottle number 150, didn't you, or something like that?
Yeah. Well, I've got one to show you here from the same brewery, which I've reviewed, and it's gonna come up think, in a couple of weeks, and it is Double Trouble, and this is aged. It's double barrel imperial stout, 13%.
Hello.
Aged on ginger and Scotch bonnet chilies.
Oh wow, that one sounds like it packs a punch.
It did. It did.
That's interesting. And it's a Scottish company, isn't it, that do those?
Yeah, two fellas, I think it is.
Great stuff. I tell you, we had some friends who they had their own gin company for a while, and it was darts themed, and it was called Double Trouble. It was called. So I have to see if I can get a couple of bottles of that and get it up to them, because I know they're
very limited. I think it's limited to 160 bottles.
Wow. And that's the thing, isn't it? So when you're charging, like I say, and again, like I say, I'm quite fortunate that I didn't buy this beer. It was gifted to me. My brother, bless him, watches the podcasts on YouTube and listens sometimes on Spotify, and kindly has bought me a few beers, and that's one of them that he picked me up. And like I say, it's 11 quid, but when it's done in such short supply, you can understand why it costs so much, can't you?
Yeah, of course you do. I think, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of outlay. You're supporting, two fellas who, really do know what they're doing. I don't mind paying that. I'll be honest. I really don't.
No, you don't, do you? So, of those 2,200 plus beers, then you must have a couple of favourites. Then, which ones sort of tip the scales at the top end?
Oh, now that's a good question. I mean, that's a. I mean, I've got highlights, as in beers which have really resonated with me over the years, and sometimes some beers I've reviewed and I've bought again, enjoyed on my own. I mean, out of the Belgian quads, my favourite one was the Rochefort 10. For me, this was a nice one.
Yeah, I had the trips of that the other week, funnily enough.
Yeah, I do like that, especially aged as well. But it's a very hard question. I've had some extraordinarily brilliant beers. The Omnipollo pecan mud pie, was it? That was extraordinarily good.
That does sound good.
But I've had some really good ones this year. I've had a really good double IPA from Rivington, which was absolutely banging.
Fair play. Have you ever had? It's an American one. It's done by, I think it's Russian River Brewing, Pliny the Elder. Have you ever come across that one?
No, I've been hunting that for years.
It is hard to get in the UK.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a little one. Is it now half strength elder as well?
I think so. Yeah.
Can't remember. But no, I've been hunting that for years. I know some people have reviewed it, but I've never been able to get hold of it.
Well, Liam, who is on the podcast, who was on the podcast last week, he's got a friend in Colorado, and he's promised me faithfully that if he gets to the States next year, he will pick up a bottle. And I'm in Texas in April for a relative wedding. So if I manage to get some, then I'll pick you up a bottle and I'll send you.
Oh, that'd be well appreciated. It really would be,
because that's on my list. That one is.
Yeah, I think it's on everybody's list. It's one of them iconic American beers which you read about quite a bit, and it's just, when I think of American beers, that is one of the main players, really.
Yeah, well, Liam is fortunate that he actually got to try it, and he tells me it is every bit as good as it's advertised to be. So
yeah, I would imagine it would be. I would imagine. I'm a big fan of Founders as well. A lot of their barrel stuff, KBSs and stuff, fantastic stuff. It really is.
Yeah, they do some good beers. Is it the Backwards Bastard that they do as well? Have you tried that one?
Yeah, I had that the other week on a live with another reviewer. Fantastic beer. Oh,
yeah, it is.
They're good.
So of the beers that you've had that you haven't enjoyed, then what's about the worst thing you've had that you didn't enjoy?
It's usually, I mean, I've had some proper stinkers. I mean, I've done all the lagers as well. if you're talking about lagers, you can't get any worse than a Carlin, to be honest. I think the worst one was a Carlin Premier, the one with the widget. I thought that was. I think I just swore all the way through it. So, and Kestrel Super was another one, which was a bit rough.
Yeah.
But as for beer itself, I mean, what's the worst beer I've had? I mean, usually when you got Lidl or Aldi and they bring out their little beer festivals, there's usually a stinker in amongst them lot.
I'll ask you a beer then. We mentioned it on here a lot. How are you with sour beers?
It's hit and miss with me. They'll either be good or they'll either be like something to put your onions in to pickle.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm okay with the fruit sours. Now, I saw one of the ones I watched the other day of yours was the Vault City Dark Fruit Sour.
Yeah.
And you weren't a big fan of that one. And I'll be honest, I haven't bought that one. I looked at it and I thought, it doesn't appeal to me, that one.
I just didn't do it for me. It's just a little bit mediocre, really. It was just bog standard stuff. It's everything I expected and a little bit less.
Yeah. Well, you see, those fruit sours I'm generally okay with, but sour beers by themselves, when they haven't got that fruity flavour, and the one that I'm talking about, and our listeners will know because we mention it all the time, we pan it all the time as well, is a beer called the Duchess de Bourgogne. Have you tried that one?
Yes, I've got that one. Yeah, I've had that. And there's another one. There was a red one. No, there's the Duchess, and there was. I can't get mixed up.
Yeah, they do a cherry and they do a chocolate cherry. And actually, I'll be honest with you, I tried the chocolate cherry on here and it was quite enjoyable. But the original, it's foul.
The original one, I remember it. I remember the twang in the mouth.
Twang is like vinegar.
Actually, I think it's one of the first sours I had on the channel. I didn't even know what a sour was before I had it, and I was.
Yeah, you knew after, didn't you?
A bit speechless, really. It's kind of like it threw me a little bit.
Yeah. So I picked it up. We were down in London, myself, Gaz, and Andy, the other two guys who do the podcast with. And we went down to a place called Balgo, which obviously is a Belgian food and beer place. Unfortunately, actually went bust during the pandemic, which is a real shame because it was a great place to visit. And I bought it there, and I couldn't finish it. And bless the barman, he let me take it back and switch it. Because I said, dude, I think this is off. I'm not sure it should taste like that. It's like, no, that is how it tastes, mate. it's a rough one.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste. It's a little bit like lambics. They're an acquired taste. I do like a lambic, I must admit, a bit.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah. Again, though, as long as it's a fruited one, I'm okay with those. The fruited beers, the fruited sours, I quite like. Some of the stuff from Vault City, the dark fruits one doesn't appeal. But
the mango one was nice. What Tesco's did, that was a nice one. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was an absolute beauty. They did that one, and I think they did a blueberry maple at the same time, which is the one I was looking forward to more, to be honest with you, because I love anything with a maple syrup flavour. But that mango one was something special. That was so thick.
It was. Yeah, it was a nice introduction actually to anybody who hasn't had a Vault City. They did a good job on that one.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, again, because those beers are quite pricey. And again, if you're picking up in Tesco's or Morrison's, they're doing for around about £4, I generally find.
Yeah.
And I don't mind paying that if it's a really decent beer from a supermarket, to be honest with you. I don't think that's too unreasonably priced.
It's not. It's not really. When you look how far we've come, beer culture's come.
Yeah, and this is it. One of the companies, I guess you would say, who are responsible for that. And we always ask people who are on about that. What BrewDog? What's your feelings about BrewDog? Then obviously they've made the news a little bit, haven't they, recently?
I've always said that this is my last BrewDog review, and it never is, because I'm too kind of like I'm too curious to what their beer's like. If you know what I mean. Yeah. I mean, for me, BrewDog never really resonated with me at all over the years. They're pioneers in craft beer, but they've never really been a brewery which, out of all the BrewDog beers I've done, I've only had two which I really liked, and that's a lot of BrewDog beers I've done.
Yeah.
But all this saving the planet and all that, and just brew a good beer. That's all you need to do. And I think for me, they've lost it. They really have, which is a shame. But
And this is it. Like you say, they're focusing a lot on that, the green issues and what have you. And what you tend to find is with things like this, when people are telling you how good they are at doing this, what they're actually doing is offsetting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's carbon offsetting. So they're still doing the same thing that they're doing, and you're probably just slipping a couple of quid elsewhere and then claiming that it's carbon neutral. And I'm not a big fan of that because it doesn't solve anything.
No.
You just want to, like say, you're a brewer. Make a decent beer that we're going to enjoy.
Just make a decent beer. I mean, because we've got a brewery which close to my heart, who close to where I am, who will be shutting soon. And, and you look at, and they make consistently good beer. Then you look at BrewDog, who kind of like fluff through it all and just giving you a load of spiel on the can and really just produce nothing.
Yeah, and obviously, and in the meantime, bully the staff a little bit as well.
Yeah, you could say that, but you can't really comment on that.
No. This is it. We don't want to get involved on that litigious side of things. Well, no, you're quite right, and I think we talked about them again last week. So we did another episode on beer, and this is the thing. And they were forerunners in the market in making craft beer quite popular. They got it out there, and they did get it out to the masses. And fair play to them for doing that.
Yeah.
But right now, do we actually need a BrewDog when you've got so many good smaller breweries producing much more unique and better beers?
Yeah, I think with BrewDog, they were the leader of the pack, and now they've become followers in a way where beer is concerned. They have, where the beer quality is concerned. You've got so many breweries out there who are doing it, with a lot more integrity, and doing it well. That BrewDog have got the capabilities of brewing good beer, but it seems to me that things have changed within that organisation purely and simple to make beer or brew beer at the lowest cost and sell it and make more money out of it. And I think that's what they're doing. I think the beers suffer because they want to make more money.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Then go on. And which of the two beers are theirs that you had that you did enjoy?
It was the Choco Libra. You remember that one?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't try.
It was a Mexican chili hot chocolate thing in Morrison's.
No, I never had that one.
And I did like the Jet Black Heart as well.
Yeah, that's not.
I thought that was good. Oh, actually, there's another one, 5 a.m. Saint. When I first had it back in the day, that was a good beer as well.
They've just brought that one back out again, haven't they?
Oh, I don't know. I dread to know what that's like now.
I don't think it'll be the same because it'll be produced on a much larger scale.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be the same at all, to be honest. No. But say that the original Hazy Jane was a very good beer.
It was. Yeah,
it was a very, very good beer. And one of their finest.
Yeah, well, that double hazy is about as close to that as you're going to get now, I think. Is it about 7% there? And obviously they do a triple hazy as well at 9.5%. I had a can of that on the weekend. It wasn't too bad. Have you ever had a go at making your own beer?
No, not really. Well, I did years ago when I used to go to Boots and used to buy them little cans of homebrew things. And you pour a load of water in this bag and you just leave it there.
We had a go at that. Andy was on the podcast. he had a go at making his own beer this time. We were going to all do it as a competition. He did it as a forerunner for us, see how it went. But then he stuck it in his conservatory in the middle of summer. So it was nice and hot during the day. Temperature was dropping down at 9 o'clock, and it was bloody awful. And he never made me try it. I'm just taking his word for it. I don't know. I just wondered if it was something you'd done. So,
No, I'll leave it to the experts.
yeah, probably for the best.
Yeah, I'll drink the stuff, and that's it.
That's it. That's it. Now, craft beer, like I say, we touched on it, and you say you tried 2,200 different beers.
Yeah,
and that list is only going to keep growing and growing and growing.
yeah.
I don't think we're near saturation point yet, are we? There's, like you say, there's breweries that are struggling, but at the same time, there are small companies that are making a success of it.
Yeah.
And I'd be interested to know how you think that's going to. Obviously, we know now that we're probably in the midst of the start of probably a cost of living crisis. There's a concern when there's some of those smaller brewers, like you say, there's one that's near yourselves that probably aren't going to be with us much longer.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Northern Monks and that have got nothing to worry about. The smaller breweries, I think they'll always be there, as long as people buy their beer, of course. But I think, from what I gather, is that it doesn't matter about the cost of living. I think if people want good beer, they will buy it. I think that's my attitude. I will still buy, my last penny on a decent beer.
Well, I think that's it though. When money's a little bit tight, you can maybe just get one or two decent quality beers and do it that way.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah,
that's definitely what I do.
The stronger the better.
Yeah, I think people who drink beer, they love the beer, and it's not about getting drunk and getting 4-pack or whatever. They want a good beer, and I think as long as people still adopt that, I think the smaller brewers got nothing to worry about, really.
Yeah, and I hope you're right on that one. I really do.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
So what's the strongest beer then that you've tested on your channel? Can you remember that?
I think it was quite recent. It's from Tataris Beers.
Yeah,
you heard of them? Familiar with them?
No, I'm not. No.
No, they're based in Leeds, and it was 17% stout. And you didn't get the alcohol whatsoever. It was beautiful, but it's just too drinkable. You didn't get the alcohol. No, it's that's the strongest. Someone did mention me about OJ Beers. I don't know if you've heard of OJ Beers. I think they're Dutch lager company or something. They were doing a 25% lager or something like that.
Gee whiz, that's 25.
Yeah, it might be worth a hoot.
Oh, that's going to be like treacle, isn't it?
It's going to be awful.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to do.
Yeah,
it'd be a good fun video,
Yeah, be an interesting one, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, so I think the strongest one we've had is the Tiny Rebel. I think it's called Get Out or Stay Out or something like that. And it's
yeah, I've had that. Yeah, I've had that.
Yeah, that's an 18%.
That's 18. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, I've had that. That was you felt that.
Yeah, you
did.
We
did on that.
Yeah, we had that one on a night out in Edinburgh. I see myself and Gas, and it was it ended badly. It was another one of those evenings that started on strong beer and ended badly. On this occasion, it was Gas failing to get off the train at his stop and ended up in the middle of nowhere. Apparently it was my fault, but I forget how.
No. It's not good to drink that type of stuff when you're out, is it?
No, God, no. Yeah, we've done it a few times on the podcast as well, where we've got we've had a few too many of the strong beers in it, and it has gone a little bit south. But we lost the ability to speak. The best one we did was we guested on a podcast in the called Designated Quizzes at Niagara Falls. And Gaz got absolutely whammoed and was slurring. I was pressing his button so you could just hear a little clip of him having a pop at the host.
Oh, my Marvel bullshit was better than your chair bullshit.
Bless him, yeah. So we like to play that every now and then just to remind him of just how leathered he got.
Oh dear.
I can get away with that because he's not here this week. So, what process then? Talk us through the process then when you're making your videos in terms of selecting a beer, and then obviously do you taste it for the first time on there, or have you had a few of them before?
Yeah, I do. What I do is I'll have something like a tasting session. So 4 or 5 beers, and I usually start off with the beers which I'm not expecting much taste from, like lagers. Always review me lagers first. Go on to pales, double IPAs, and finish off with a stout. I've always done it that way. I'll try to mix it up. I'll do about 4 or 5. Then once I've done them, I'll schedule them to come up over the week or whatever, and start again. It's just that's why I do it. And I'm in Spain in a couple of weeks, so what happens is I'll schedule them around my holiday. And when I get to Spain, much to my wife's annoyance, I go and review beers in the hotel room in Spain.
That's fair play, though. That's I guess I suppose you're going to get beers that you're not necessarily going to see in the UK.
I've done a load. I mean, I've been to Spain numerous occasions since I've started this channel, and I still find stuff out there to review.
My dad lived in Spain for a while, and one of the things he managed to get hold of a lot of Belgian beer out there as well.
Yeah, you do in the bars as well. And stuff like that. It's you just do. And some stuff you don't really you get over here in the bottle shops. And I remember a special Franciscana one, which was over there. I've never seen before over here. And you do. So I tend to go to a bar and set the camera up and drink a few in the bar as well.
Yeah, fair play. Fair play. Well, I shall look forward to those when they come out then.
Oh, they'll be coming.
Yeah.
If I find some new stuff, because last time we went over there, I did most of the week. I did all the non-alcoholic stuff I could find.
Oh wow! I'm not ventured too far into that market myself, if I'm honest with you. I mean, that is a growing market, though, isn't it? Non-alcoholic beer.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I think it's got it is a very healthy market as well. To be honest, I think it's a fantastic alternative, and some breweries do actually get it right as well. Some don't, but
no, I had a beer, Lucky Saint. I had it, and I was in a pub.
I've never had that one actually.
Well, I was in a pub it's just outside of Crewe. I forget what it was called now, and it was actually they had it on tap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the first time I've ever seen a non-alcoholic beer on tap, and I was pretty impressed with it because it was obviously coming via the pump. It actually had a little bit of body to it as well, so he didn't even. I got in my car to drive home at the end of the meal, and I thought, I'm not sure I should be driving. I've had about 4 or 5 pints.
I've never had it. Actually, that's one beer I'm going to make a note. I've got to do. Lucky Saint.
Yeah, I tell you, I'm not a big fan of non-alcoholic beers. So there's that one, and then the other one I had, which I didn't think was too bad out of the bottle, was the Bitburger Drive. I don't know if you've seen that one. That's a German Pilsner beer. Now, the original beer itself actually is a pretty decent beer, but I know when my wife was expecting, and I had to forego the alcohol just in case we had to make the trip to the hospital on the 2 occasions that we were done it. Yeah, that one was one of the decent beers that I did have of the non-alcoholic ones.
I don't think I've reviewed Bitburger. That's why that down.
Yeah, it's not one you see too often. It isn't one you see too often. But yeah, the Lucky Saint, especially if you see it on tap, give it a go. I was quite impressed with that.
Oh, definitely, I'll give that one a go.
Yeah. And one of the other things you see now in non-alcoholic beers is CBD. What's your thoughts on that?
CBD. I don't know. I never really thought about it, to be honest.
No. It's starting to crop up. Like I said, this is the Farmyard Brewing. They do a couple. I think they actually do one which is 5.7 an IPA. No, I've not seen it. I picked this one up in Booths in Knutsford, this beer. But, yeah. So they do one, and they do a non-alcoholic one as well. Now, I did have a CBD mojito. It didn't do anything for me, if I'm really honest.
Nah.
I can't really see the point in doing it myself. because I
No.
didn't. I don't feel like it affected my mood. And it was a mojito, a non-alcoholic mojito that had CBD in it, and it was so sugary, nearly set my teeth off. You know, I mean, it was a funny one. Yeah, it was a funny one.
No, I've never really thought of it. I've never thought about it, to be honest.
Well, I guess it's that idea that if you're not going to get the buzz off having the alcohol in the beer, then it gives you a little bit of takes the edge off, shall we say? If if I don't know, if CBD does indeed do anything, I don't know. Feel free.
I don't think it does.
No, I was about to say, feel free to at me and tell me whether you're right or wrong, because I don't know the difference. I really don't know the difference.
No, I don't think it'll do anything. It's still in the mind.
I genuinely believe it, and that might be why it didn't work for me, because my mind barely functions at the best of times. Yeah.
Oh.
So bottle shops then. So obviously you obviously got a fair old decent selection there behind you. You said you're going to talk us through some of your favourites in a little bit, but
yeah,
did the idea of ever running a bottle shop ever appeal to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
I
play with the idea for a long time, and I don't know. I got cold feet, but it's still a job which I would love to do. I think. I know. I think it's the money. You know, it's all about the money, isn't it? It's like, the outlay you got to put out. You know,
and that's it.
And whether or not you get the custom as well is another thing. You know, you have to build up a customer base, wouldn't you? Really, from scratch. So I think that was the main thing for me. But I would still love to do it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, we had Liam and Della on, who run a place in Sandbach. I don't know how familiar you are with the area that we live in. We live in South Cheshire.
Is it?
No, Cheshire.
Oh,
Sorry,
Cheshire.
so South Cheshire. Yeah. So they run one, and the guy who had it first, he opened it up in Burslem, which is in Stoke-on-Trent. Didn't take off, so we moved it to Sandbach, where there wasn't anything else like that in Sandbach. So
yeah,
you're fortunate, but now it's a little bit more difficult to find somewhere that hasn't already got one of those little shops, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, you're right. For me, I have got a favourite bottle shop I go to every week, which it's in an old northern mining town called Coxo, which is just outside Durham. Okay. And I go there, and it's a tiny little place, but I like going there. You know, they seem to get the local breweries in and that, which I really like. And I sometimes go to York as well, to Trembling Madness, who, I highly rate as well in their mail order. It's very, very good. So I mean, I just stick to one bottle shop really, and that's the one in Coxo for me. It's just nice to get local stuff.
Yeah, fair play. Well, I've been up to York a couple of times. I've been to the Trembling Madness. I've picked up the House of Trembling Madness, sorry, and I've picked up a few beers from there. They do a decent range. So go on, while we're on it, then let's explain the logic behind your name, then, the Northern Southerner beer reviews. Then obviously you aren't originally from the north of England.
No, what it is that I'm from the south, but I live in the north. Hence, I'm a Northern Southerner. Simple as that, really.
You've crossed that. You've crossed that great divide.
Yeah, I've been living in the north about 15 years now. So I'm just on the edge of the Yorkshire Dales. So it's
nice. And where were you from originally?
Eastbourne.
Oh wow, right, yeah. So
that's down in Sussex, right next to Brighton. So
that is a good run. It's a good run.
It's a good one, yeah.
Yeah. So what took you up north then?
Oh, I'm married Northerner.
All right, there you go.
There you go.
Fair play. Fair play.
Go on.
How does she take to your beer reviews then?
She's all right. She sometimes gets me stuff when she's out shopping and that. She knows I like doing it. She puts up with a lot with it, to be honest, because when we go abroad, like I say, get off the plane, she'll be looking at places to eat, and I'll be looking at what's in the Spanish supermarkets.
Yeah. This is it's blokes and their hobbies, in it. Do you know what I mean? Like my wife, again, long suffering, puts up with me wasting money on different microphones and
Yeah,
different little bits of equipment, which I spend weeks trying to figure out how they work and
yeah,
never quite get to the bottom of it.
yeah,
And then as well, each week, because I said when I did it, look, it's pretty cheap to do a podcast. Don't worry about it. It's not a problem. It's not going to cost too much. And then each week, since I've started doing it, different beer each week.
yeah.
And yeah, it gets. I'm not gonna lie, it does get a bit pricey, doesn't it? You know, it does add up with the cost of beer.
It does. Yeah, I don't. I'll be honest. I don't spend a fortune on it.
No.
I keep it. Actually, when I go to a bottle shop, I might only pick two up.
Mm.
If I've got enough at home from the supermarket, I just mix it in. You know what I mean? That's the way I do it. I don't try not to spend a lot.
No, I'm the same as yourself. I'll pick some up from the bottle shop. I'll pick some up from the supermarket, and
Yeah,
then, like I say, Belgian Beer Company we had on before. They are local to us, so I
yeah,
can do the old click and collect. I literally work a 2 minute walk away from where they are, and God bless them, they do a discount for people who are local to them.
yeah.
So I do, yeah. I get some money off when I buy from them. So that's another place because I do love my Belgian beers. Have you ever been to Belgium?
No, but I would love to go.
Yeah, it's yeah.
I would love to go. I'd love to go to one of them places which, of with you got a cellar underneath, and you got stuff from the 60s and 70s, and you can.
Yeah. Well, see, Andy is the other guy who's normally on the podcast. He lived in Brussels for a while,
Yeah,
and we went on holiday with him a couple of years ago to Brussels, and we went to Bruges. And one of the places we went literally are in the catacombs underneath. Yeah, it is a great place to have a beer. It's very, very atmospheric.
yeah. It's just one of them. Yeah, I love to go. It's just I love Belgian beer. I'll be lost.
Oh yeah, and this is it. Like they've got the Delirium bar in the center of Brussels.
Yeah,
They do the Delirium Cafe and the Delirium bar, and
yeah.
they add a beer for every year. So if you go this year, you got 2022 different beers that you can try when you go there.
You wouldn't get through 10 of them, would you?
Yeah, no, you don't. I tell you what,
You
you don't.
don't.
We
Especially with that ABVs, you wouldn't.
I know we had some strong ones while we were out there. Speaking of which, so just cracked open the second beer. I tell you what, it's got a smell to it.
Yeah, I like the smell of that. It's
Yeah. So this is from Sinister Brewing, which, as you say, is two guys. Is it two brothers? Did he say?
I'm not too sure they're brothers, but two fellas in Midlothian,
Yeah.
Scotland.
And it is an 11%, 11.7%
Yeah,
smoked stout with Mexican applewood smoked.
yeah,
But is it Pasilla chilies? That's one of the
yes,
easier. Yeah, that's one of the easier
yes,
words to pronounce. And it's
yeah.
the El Diablo. God, I can't say it again.
I
Ahumada.
can't
Oh, I don't
pronounce
know.
it.
Yeah, yeah. I have no idea how that's pronounced.
It's a problem when you review beer. You don't know how to pronounce stuff. And you think,
No,
"Oh."
especially when you had a few of them.
Yes, but you had a few.
See, now, funny enough, my brother was out and he was out in Newcastle on the Lyme and
Yeah,
he sent me a picture of beer. He says, go on, pick a beer and I'll buy it for you because I was at work at the time. So
yeah.
I picked this one and he tells me, he says, nah, according to the guys in the bar, you picked the wrong one there. I should have picked these other ones. But for me, I tell you what, I'm not getting too much spice off of it though.
No, it's more
Mm,
more of a woody thing for
yeah.
me.
And you can taste the smoke to it as well.
Oh, the smoke's beautiful.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. That's an absolute humdinger of a beer, that one, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's one of my favourites from them. Definitely that.
Yeah. Absolute cracker. So I tell you another BrewDog. They just done one called Rattle and Rum, which is a rum flavored
It will
stout.
be. I will be doing it. I don't
You'll be
know
doing it
yet.
on
I will be doing it at some point. Yeah.
because I'm sure that's got oak or something. In it. It's got oak flavorings. Oh, yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. I've got the warmth coming through now. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got,
Yeah.
yeah.
What I found with the one you're drinking, it's when I first had it felt thin, then it
Mm,
kind of like developed as you kept drinking it in flavour.
mm. That's a good beer. Yeah, that's much more the sort of thing I drink. That hoof was okay. I tell you
Yeah.
what, it's not so much when I'm drinking it. So now I'm talking.
Yeah.
You get the warmth come on the back of the tongue. Yeah, I like that.
It's a nice one. It's a nice one.
Yeah. Just out of interest, then, are you a whiskey man at all?
I do like a drop of whiskey. To be honest, I'm not a whiskey connoisseur. I do like whiskey. Out of all the spirits, I suppose whiskey is the one I would drink more than anything. But I don't really drink spirits. I do like the odd cider. I do put the odd cider on the channel. But you know, I've never really been a spirit man as such.
You never stick it in your beer. You had the old Boilermakers.
When I was young pup growing up,
When you knew no better.
but I knew no better. And you think, yeah, what did I do that? Kind of like, yeah, back in the old days, maybe.
Yeah, well, yeah, we had my cousin over from Texas, and Andy, who's like I say normally on the podcast.
Yeah,
it's something that he does from time to time, just like a Boilermaker, and we were drinking those on an episode. Yeah, it was Leff with Conor McGregor's whiskey.
Oh
Proper
God,
12,
no.
I'll tell you what, yeah.
Not for me.
Yeah, it got messy very, very quickly.
Nah, not for me. No, I'm not into that.
What about your whiskey flavored beers though? You like the ones that are barrel aged? Are you okay with them?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I've always been always liked the whiskey stuff. You know, when I think of them type of beers, I think of Innis and Gunn for some reason. I think it's because they were the first ones I had. You know, which is whiskey cask type of beer. You know.
Yeah, they do some good ones. I probably get shot for saying it because they're a Scottish company, but they did a bourbon one, a bourbon stout. Oh, that's my favourite of theirs.
I'm not familiar with that. I like the Irish one, the Irish whiskey one they did. That was nice.
Yeah, I put the bourbon one up. I'm sure it's some like Own Bargains, and I just saw they had it as a one. Yeah, I saw it as a one-off, and I thought, I'm going to give that a go, and it was an absolute beauty of a beer.
I think I've got an Innis and Gunn coming up actually.
Oh yeah,
it's a Caribbean one.
Oh, the Caribbean rum one, yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember because I was a little bit pickled when I did it. I can't remember. I don't know if I liked it or not.
So have you had a few videos where you've stuck them online and you watch it back after and thought, oh gee whiz, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and I think the one I got most slaughtered for was when I first started. I did my first Pilsner on the channel. It was a Budvar. And I absolutely didn't know anything about Budvar, you know, the Budvar Budweiser, and I absolutely slated it. I couldn't believe I slated this beer. And years later, some people have never forgiven me for doing it. So I've had to do a re-review with the Budvar and the normal Budweiser and try and.
It is better than the normal Bud. I'll say.
Oh yes. It was like a learning curve for me when I first started out. I didn't really know what I was doing, to be honest.
Well, the thing about it is opinion based, isn't it? And you've got everybody.
Yeah.
You could taste that plenty of the ales, and you could sit there and say, do you know what, this is absolutely bloody awful, despite the fact that everybody out there likes it. That's your personal preference.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't be kind of like forced to agree with anybody else.
No.
I have seen it with others where like a little peer pressure that someone likes it and you wouldn't be allowed to say anything against it, but
no, exactly, and that's the thing. If you don't like it, there's absolutely nothing wrong with
be honest.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. And people respect you for it. Do you know what I mean? They might go out and taste it and think, actually, do you know what? That's an absolute humdinger of a beer. Now, I tell you the one I watched recently, and this is the most recent one. I mean, by the time this drops on audio, it won't be, and we'll have this video up in a day or so's time, was the Club Tropica 10%er How
Yeah,
was
I've
that
done
one?
that. Yeah, that came
Yeah.
out today. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that one earlier. How was that one then? Because I didn't even know they'd done that one. That's got quite an
Well,
interesting looking beer.
it was a special release. I think wasn't it for their birthday box? Because
Yeah.
someone sent me that.
Okay.
And I was surprised how good it was for Tiny Rebel. I was expecting something a lot worse, but and it actually weren't bad at all. It's the alcohol was quite well hidden for a 10%er, and I thought, yeah, I could, it's not bad. It weren't bad.
Oh, fair play, fair play. Go on then. You said you're going to talk us through some of your favourite beers there that you managed to get. You got a couple of bottles out, did you, out of your collection there? Tell us about a
Yeah,
few of
I
the
mean
ones you tried.
this one, I highly recommend this one if you can get it. It's from Rivington. It's the Mad God.
Oh, I've not had that one. Dipper.
Oh, that's best depot I've had this year. That
All right, I'll keep an eye out for that one. I'll have a word with them at the beer emporium.
it's gorgeous. It's a
Yeah.
gorgeous beer. It absolutely. And this is from the brewery which might be closing. That one there.
Oh no, I've seen this online.
That's a lovely beer.
I do like
It's
it.
an acquired taste, but I thought that was absolutely really good. Really good.
Oh, fair play. So what? And you've heard that they're closing then, or potentially on the brink of doing so.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a shame.
They haven't announced it, but I've heard it. So I'm not gonna, say that they are until they announce it. But it could be possibly.
Oh, fair play, fair play. Oh, so that's a shame too. I've seen those on. In all fairness, it was probably on your review that I saw it. If I'm honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll see if I
Yeah.
can get my hands on.
Yeah.
On some
It's
of them.
the Rivington one is well impressive. I like Rivington anyway. I think Rivington are really solid brewer.
So one of the things about beer as well and craft beer is
Yeah.
there's a touch of snobbery about it, isn't there, as well? Beer snobbery.
Oh,
What do
the
you make of that?
snobbery.
Yeah. What do you?
Well, the snobbery. When I think of it, it makes me laugh in a way. It was get a grip, will you? It's kind of like, I mean, when I first started this channel, BrewDog wasn't in the supermarkets. Everything was ale, and all of a sudden, the craft beer came in, and you had your adjuncts in your craft beer, then you had, you know, all these other weird and wonderful things come out. People getting snobbery about. I don't get it. I don't get the snobbery. I still drink me ale. I still drink a pint. I still drink a can of Mackesons.
The old Mackies, yeah, the old
Yeah, I
Mackie
do.
Black.
It's just snobbery. There's no need for it. I think, why are you against it? Beer is a working class, working man's drink. So what's there to be snobbery about?
No, it's just true. And what part of that for me as well is, I don't know how you feel about it, but glasses. Drink the different beer out of different glasses.
Oh God, have we had this?
I don't know. I cannot tell the difference from one beer or another. There's certain glasses I like to drink out of, and they're generally the ones that I've got the wife to stick Tall Boy Radio on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's it. But these are the glasses I drink out of every week. But is it something you do? Would you put an IPA in an IPA glass, or do you just stick in whichever glass you got available to you?
It's not going to make your beer taste different, is it?
No, not to me. Not to me.
To be honest, I've only used a handful of glasses on the channel, about 5 or 6 glasses in 7 years. Mainly because I'm crap with glasses. If I get a posh one, I'll break it.
Yeah.
And if I had a bottle of quack, I'm not going to go to my woodwork shed and build a quack glass. It's a myth. It doesn't bother me. It really doesn't.
And the other one is temperature.
Oh, I always have my beer at room temperature. Don't matter what it is.
You don't chill
Even
it?
if it's no, I don't chill it. Very rarely I chill a beer because if you chill, say, a lager, then for me, lagers taste all the same chilled.
Yeah.
What I want to do, I want to have it at room temperature so you can pick up the actual taste, the hop, the bitterness, the malt. And if you have it dead cold, a lager, it's just like every other lager in my book.
It's interesting that. And this is one of the things, I was chatting to Liam about last week, and when I actually went and picked the beers up. See, all my beers, I like them ice cold. So even this one here, this smoked chili one, it's been in the fridge for 24 hours, so it's nice and sort of cold.
Yeah.
And one of the things he said was certain beers they have, because obviously he's got plenty of time to stand around drinking beer all day. God bless him. I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous at all.
Yeah.
And he'll try them cold, and he'll try them at room temperature. And he said there's certain flavour profiles that if you're drinking that beer, you do not pick up on when it's cold. He says there is an argument as to why you're drinking it, at room temperature.
You don't. I've had, say, a Black Sheep milk stout. I had it cold, I had it warm. When I had it cold, I picked up metallicness in it. When I had it warm, I picked up the chocolate.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting.
It is. I always have in room temperature. Sometimes some breweries put the temperature on, don't they?
Yeah.
On the cans, especially the Belgian stuff, obviously, because.
Oh, see the Belgian stuff. That they love their separate. There's a separate glass for every single goddamn beer, let alone just style of beer.
That's part of the charm. That's part of their culture, isn't it? It's beer's part of everyday life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's part of their fabric of life. I think it's like an alternative to what France is to wine in a way.
Yeah, it is, and I think that's the reason why they have the reputation that they do, because they treat it as such, don't they?
Yeah.
And like you say, and then when they do the separate glasses for each as well, it is a bit of a joy. And then Mongozo beer. You've heard any of the Mongozo beers?
I haven't had any, but I know I can get some if I wanted some. Banana one, I think.
Yeah, I love that one. I get absolutely slated for drinking that one. It's about 3.5%, so it's quite a weak one. So I don't know about you. I don't know if you like a curry, but
I do. Yeah, I'm not really hot. I don't. I like a korma.
oh no. Oh, mind you, they do a coconut one as well, which might go quite nicely with that. But no, I think the banana one goes fantastic with a curry. It's got that fruity flavour that picks out. It balances nicely for me against the spices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give it a go. I will give it that a go, actually, on your recommendation. So give that a go.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if you do that one on the channel. And that one.
Yeah, I know I can get them.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for that one. And with that, the glass that they recommend with that ain't so much of a glass. It's half a coconut is what they'll give you in the bars to drink out of that.
Oh, I don't know about this.
No.
Umbrella in.
Yeah, that's it.
Something like that.
Pina colada.
Yeah, pina colada.
Yeah, so we're coming up to around about the hour mark. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about on here before we go?
Oh, all I can say is thank you very much for really having me on. It's an absolute pleasure. I've really enjoyed it.
I'm glad. I've enjoyed having you on as well. Just before you go, I just do need to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. And that is, if you're going to have a beer, then the perfect thing to go with that is something like olives or nuts or pretzels or even chocolate-covered pretzels, depending on the type of beer that you're having. Head over to Ollie's. Yeah, thank you. Head over to ollies-ollies.com and you will get 20% off if you're based in the UK if you use the promo code TALLBOYRADIO. You use that at checkout and you get 20% off your whole order. And with every order that is placed on their website, they donate a school meal to a child who's in need of help through the help of One Feeds Two. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us. Very much
pleasure, mate.
Yeah. So what have we got to look forward to coming up on the channel? Can you give us any spoilers before you go?
Oh, spoilers! We got another tiny Rebel Imperial Stout coming next week. I think we have got a brand new brewery in Newcastle with a maple syrup brown ale.
Interesting.
We've also got the Double Trouble Sinister's coming up soon. And we've got another Sinister coming up, a raspberry Imperial Stout as well.
Oh, nice.
And what else have I got? Some Rivingtons coming up. 2 Rivingtons are coming up. We got I've got plenty of beer coming up.
That's what I like to hear. And like I say, if next year we are successful in getting a few bottles of the Pliny the Elder, we'll make sure we get a bottle of that up to you as well to try.
Yeah, you let me know, mate. I mean, I'll be up for that.
Yeah, definitely. So, if you'd like to say your goodbyes.
Thank you, everybody, for watching or listening to us.
Yeah. And if you
it's been a pleasure. Been an absolute pleasure.
And where can we find you online? We need your social media stuff and your YouTube.
It's YouTube, Northern Southerner Beer Reviews.
There you go. And you can be found on Facebook as well.
Yeah, I've got a group on Facebook, Northern Southerner Beer Reviews as well.
Absolutely, which I am, of course, a member of. So that just leaves it to me to say thank you very much for listening, and we'll catch you next week. Take care.
Cheers.